Project Isis, the extraterrestrial discovery in the Pyramid of Cheops. In 1960, the USSR launched a project called Isis, which aimed to study the Cheops Pyramid. This project was carried out under the close control of the KGB. Inside the pyramid, the Russians discovered an ancient tomb and artifacts, over 10,000 years old, placed in a room called the Visitor's Chamber. The tomb contained the remains of an alien creature. Viktor Belenko, astrophysicist, describes in his book, Project Isis, the KGB discovers the grave of the visitor, his experience, within this project. The team consisted of renowned Egyptologists, but also representatives of the army and the KGB, who traveled to Egypt, where they made a huge discovery. The grave was of an alien who had lived 10,000 years ago. The grave was opened and the remains of the alien and artifacts were taken to Moscow. Suddenly, without explanation, the Russian authorities decided to end the project, without giving any explanation. In 2010, the head of the archaeology department of Cairo University, Professor Ala Shassin, argued in a conference that there is a possibility that the Egyptian pyramids were built by aliens. Asked what he was basing his claim on, he said that inside the pyramid, there was something out of this world. The Isis project led to the conclusion that Egypt was founded by aliens. In Egyptian mythology, Osiris was the first dead and resurrected king. Osiris was a real personage. After his death, he was mummified and buried in a secret place. Osiris was said to be of alien origin. In the sarcophagus, next to the alien's mummy, a papyrus was found, in which it is said that Pharaoh Khufu met with a visitor from the heavens and that others will come to earth. In 1988, another alien mummy was discovered in the pyramid, hidden in a sarcophagus. The discovery was made by the French historian Louis Caporet. Unfortunately, the Egyptian authorities did not allow the researcher to examine and take samples of the alien's DNA. Caporet was invited to leave Egypt without explanation, and the alien mummy was confiscated by the Egyptian military and taken to a secret location, far from the eyes of Western researchers. Caporet later stated that the mummy had an elongated skull, as if it had suffered from a disease called hydrocephalus, that is, enlargement of the skull. Caporet claims that the mummy discovered by the Russian specialists also had an elongated skull, which is why he claims that it is not a disease. All aliens have an elongated skull. In addition to the above, I remind you that, in 1978, Egypt decided to install a secret military base inside the Snefru Pyramid. A group of researchers, including Israelis, had access to penetrate deep into the pyramid. The team went down to 15 meters deep, where they discovered a metal disc. The diameter of the disc was 120 centimeters and it was supported by 3 legs. The disc was shiny and didn't look like the patina of time had taken its toll. All the artifacts around this disc were not typical of Egyptian culture. There were tables and electronic materials. Israeli researchers photographed the interior of the pyramid, photos that reached the Ministry of Defense in Israel. Israel decided to send 3 Hercules planes, carrying trucks, to load the discovered artifacts. An incident ensued between the Israelis who arrived on the scene and the Egyptian soldiers guarding the entrance, which resulted in the deaths of 12 Israeli soldiers and 8 Egyptian soldiers. By the time the Egyptian army arrived, the Israelis had managed to load the artifacts and reach their destination. Military strategists claim that apart from the Americans, Israel has also built powerful weapons by appropriating alien technology. UFO in an Egyptian papyrus. The link between the pyramids and aliens. In a distant age, in the heart of the Egyptian desert, events occurred that exceeded all human imagination. Among hot sands and strong winds, imposing pyramids rise, watching over untold mysteries. It all started with the discovery of an ancient papyrus known as the Tully Papyrus. This was no mere scrap of papyri, but a gateway to the unknown mysteries of the universe. The papyrus told about some bright objects that appeared in the sky of ancient Egypt. These objects were not stars, nor comets, but something much more mysterious. The people of the time who witnessed this phenomenon were overcome with panic and amazement. Their story, written with a trembling hand on papyrus, has crossed the millennia. But what did these objects represent? Were they signs of visitors from other worlds? Or just illusions of a mysterious sky? The story of this papyrus opened the way to a series of unanswered questions. The pyramids, these grand monuments, are at the heart of these questions. Is there a connection between them and the heavenly visitors? Some say that the pyramids are creations of a higher civilization, that they came from somewhere deep in the cosmos to guide mankind. Their perfect construction, alignment with the stars, and the mystery of the secret chambers suggest an extraterrestrial influence. But how can we explain this in the absence of concrete evidence? Theories about direct contact between extraterrestrials and Earthlings have always been a subject of debate. In the case of ancient Egypt, archaeologists and historians continue to study, dig, search for answers. But many of these answers seem to be hiding in the shadows, in the unexplored chambers of the pyramids, or in the cryptic texts of ancient papyri. And yet, what lies behind these stories? Is it possible that the ancient Egyptians were visited by beings from other worlds? Were the pyramids some kind of beacons for alien spaceships? Or are they just figments of the human imagination, born of a desire to believe in something greater than ourselves? These questions continue to fascinate us and challenge our thinking. The Tully Papyrus remains a symbol of mystery, a window to an undeciphered past. His story brings us to an intersection between science and myth, between reality and fantasy. Just as we look at the stars and wonder about our place in the universe, we look at the pyramids and wonder about the secrets they hold. Thus, the story of the pyramids and UFOs in the Egyptian papyrus remains an enigma, an unsolved puzzle of human history. It challenges us to explore, to seek, and to ask, what other hidden secrets are waiting to be discovered? In this mix of fiction and reality, of science and myth, we find the unceasing beauty of the human mystery, a mystery that continues to fascinate and inspire us.